All right, so we have our front end back on. I can't wait to get it on where it just stays on. I said I wish I had the tires under there, man, just so I could see, but it is way too hard to get this front end on by yourself with the tires on because the tires literally sit out. I know we mocked them up like really close to the edge, so you'll have to kind of do just like a race car front end where you kind of have to flex the fenders open just a little bit to get them around the tires, where you take tires off. More than likely for me, if the front end was coming off, tires will also be coming off. So we put it on, and man, I hate this thing sitting outside in the weather. We've got to hurry up and get this thing back inside. I should have got one of them lifts that was offered to me for free for storage overhead and put it like right here, literally just so we could put 4 eyelets on this piece and crank it up and put this front end up in the ceiling just so that it's comes straight up and down. But we've got to get this mount on for the center. Now we are keeping the factory radiator support. I think it's pretty cool to keep as much of the factory body stuff as we can. So we're going to keep the factory radiator support as of right now is the plan. I'm not sure if we're going to keep these horns here. Probably will. Probably honestly will keep the horns there. We'll paint them, get them hooked up where they work. But we've got to get this mount. So the cool thing about this front end, the only thing that holds it is just these two right here. All right, it's just them 2 bolts in the center, front center. That's it. That is all that holds the front end on, besides the bolts that go up through the inside of the fender. So we need to have a plate here, and then the plate needs to be connected to the frame somehow. I have a couple ideas, but I definitely don't want to work on the floor, and I definitely don't want to work around this front end. So what I've done is I've took this piece of poster board, and I went under there, and I pushed up on it with my fingers from the backside right here, really hard into the bolts, and that gave me template for the bolts. I'm now going to draw a square around these bolts, cut this template out, and then cut this out of steel, drill the holes, put it on there, and then I think I'm going to temporarily scab it back to that cross member down there with some scrap pipe, weld it a couple pieces, that way it's really strong tacked on there. Then we'll take the front end back off, and what we'll be left with is just this plate that's floating in the front end. Then we can build all of our stuff around it because we have absolutely nothing in the way. We know that the end of our tubes right here are flush with the radiator support, as you can see. And if you watched every video, then you recall that they get cut back. We said they got cut back. We left them long to about where the radiator support was supposed to be, and then we're gonna cut them back. So if I have a floating piece down there that's tacked to there, I could cut these back, build everything, blah, blah, blah. Take the front end back off. This time I think I'm gonna probably just sit it in the driveway and hopefully have it back on. Yeah, I've got it, the bottle jack, holding it up in the center, and I've got enough where both sides just pull out with your hand. I got one bolt in the top. That makes sure, that reassures me that the front end's not sagging. So if we come over here, same thing, all right? And they actually get some like 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch thick webbing, fabric stuff that goes between them from the factory. So that should be about 1/8 or 1/4 once that gets spaced out. We'll drill the holes a little big in the front so you have a little bit of movement on the front end. But I was gonna originally put the hood on and check the hood fitment to that. And then I was like, nah, you know what? There's no reason to do that because you can't bend this. You know, this is not going to bend here in the center just off of dead weight, and there's a jack underneath it. So as long as we not have tension down there on the corners, then we should be totally fine. And you still have adjustment back there, up and down. And then in the front, we'll probably actually, let's see here, we'll probably put a washer on that plate maybe. Yes, because we have to have rubber too, so we got to do that. We'll put some spacers, like 2 washers, on that plate to space that down because it's also going to need rubber. And then that'll give us a little bit of adjustment up and down if we need to shim it up or if we need to go down to a thinner piece of rubber. Let's see here. We'll actually do a couple of washers to give ourselves room to shim it. So let's get this piece cut out. We have got this thing done. The front end is on, and we're level. So I had to toot up that side a little bit more, but we are dead level. All weight sitting on our brackets down here, which I'll show you in a minute, are not very thrilling to look at all, but they're tacked. And our main piece is clean, so we'll be nice and welted it. So let's get this front end back off and sit it in a driveway, I guess, and try to build this front support. All right, we have a front cross member for our front end. Dude, what a freaking mess. Look at the floor. Holy crap. So Sunday morning, we're gonna be cleaning because this is crazy. I gotta let it air out. It's so bad in here. We're gonna end cap these eventually, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see here what I want to do yet with them. I can still get lines through them if I want to, so I don't want to cap them quite yet. Still got a little bit of angle out the backside on both of these. Let me make sure. Yes, because they're cut square. The back tubes are cut square into a 45. So we can pass lines through there if we need to. So I don't want to do that yet. But this ended up being a little challenging. I mean, not super challenging, but it had to clear the support. So the support has to sit on there, and it was really close to this. I was actually going to rock and roll with it without the support, and because I've never took the support off the front end, and then I was like, no, it's like I better take the support off. So it's leaning backwards, but as you can see, plus it gets rubber spacing up. we got the clearance. So it was a little bit tricky to figure out because of this right here. So that's where it gets a little tricky. But we got it in, man. Them horns are freaking huge. Got it in, got that done. There's another thing off the checklist, which is amazing because tomorrow, hopefully, I can put this front end back together, that piece back on that. And now, moving forward, we could just sit the front end on there and bolt it on top, sit it on the bottom, and we'll be good to go. We spaced it with 2 washers. That was our thing. I don't know if I'm going to fill in the backside. So it's only 2-sided right now. Not sure I even want to bother with filling in the backside. This is not technically a support for the frame rail. It's literally just to bolt the front sheet metal on. So this is strong enough. I bet you could pick the whole car up off of that. This is strong enough where technically it probably does not need to be boxed all the way in. But we can't box it all the way in anyway because of the bolts. But we'll see. Again, I apologize for not using a lot of the trick photography that I've kind of been using where stuff's moving or the mic on me while I'm working, whatever. We're trying to get switched over to this new iPhone 16 and the attachments that bolt into it. I had to order the different plug that this one takes than the old one. Smash that like button for me, y'all, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, y'all.